Hey guys, so I thought we could do something a little bit different today. It's actually something that I've never done before. But I was thinking we would break down my song, Something from Your Heart. So if you've ever wondered what goes behind a track or what kind of goes behind this song in particular, stick around and you might learn something if I'm a good enough teacher. So opening the computer window, we've got Logic Pro open and I've got all the individual stems that have already been mixed. They've just been re-imported back into the project. I've kind of broken down the song already into sections. So we've got the first verse up here, the chorus, verse 2, chorus 2, bridge, and chorus 3. So you can tell that it's a very, very simple song in terms of the structure and even in terms of the instrumentation, which we've got down here. So we've got the main vocals in red, backing vocals, pad vocals, which I'll kind of talk about a little bit more. We've got the piano, guitar, woodwinds, French horn, strings, bass, and then some effects, which again, I'll talk a little bit more about throughout the video. So going from the very, very start, we've just got the piano and vocal.
Remember when I held you on the train? Then we walked our way back home out in the rain.
So what we've got happening there is the vocals are talking about sort of these nice memories. Like, remember when I held you on the train? They're nice memories, but then we've got this piano is a little bit unsettling when you listen to it by itself. Right there, that note, those two notes clash and there's a little bit of dissonance happening there, which kind of builds tension and suggests that these happy memories that the lyrics are talking about are not quite so happy and something is going to happen, which I'm assuming you've listened to the song, something does happen. But yeah, so that's kind of the first half of that first verse. And when I recorded this, I recorded just the piano to begin with. It's how I write all my songs, just the piano and vocals. And then I add everything else in comes later. So when I recorded the piano, I recorded it in free time, which means I wasn't playing to a click track. So I didn't have that going on in the background, which kind of means that there's almost like an ebb and flow to the song, which makes it really, really pretty because you get all these like nice pauses and you get to kind of hold back and linger on notes. And I just really like the idea of doing that. And I've never done it before. So you can see that I've actually mapped the tempo. So the tempo is not a constant throughout the song. The tempo changes every single bar almost, sometimes multiple times a bar. And it just makes it sound realistic. It makes it sound like somebody's playing it live right in front of you, which is definitely what I wanted to kind of go for with this song. So moving on, in the second half of the first verse, we've got the guitar that comes in.
I put you in my jacket to keep you dry.
And you'll see that the guitar, we've actually recorded 2 tracks. So my brother recorded the guitar. And it's always really, really nice when you record a guitar to have one sort of going through the left ear and the other through the right ear. So we recorded the track twice and panned them to different ears. And that kind of makes things sound really wide and spacious with the guitar. And it's just a very nice, pretty sound, I think.
And that was the day you said goodbye.
And the guitar is just short strums, just kind of really, really simple and spacious. So this song is very, very spacious, I feel like. And then we've got the chorus coming in. When the chorus comes in, we've actually got this sub bass that happens. So you'll see that it's called sub bass and it's in pink. You can barely hear it. So if you're watching on a phone or even a laptop, you might not be able to hear this sub bass. It's a very low pitch and it's more about the feel that you get when you're listening to the song as opposed to the sound that you hear. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's almost like just very, very long sustained notes. And it kind of just adds a little bit of depth and thickness to that entire chorus section. So in the chorus section, we've also got the strings that come in. Just the violin and viola at this stage, and then halfway through the chorus, we get the violin and cello. And you'll notice the strings are a lot quieter than the other instruments, and that's because we couldn't bring the strings out too much because they are fake strings. They're MIDI strings, so we haven't actually got someone to perform them live because I didn't have access to that at the time. I guess you work with what you've got, but that meant that we couldn't bring the strings out as much as I would have liked to, which is a shame. But like I said, you work with what you've got.
As though we're never gonna meet again, and all that I can do is just pretend it didn't.
You get a tiny little bit of cymbal happening down here. You'll barely be able to hear it. And that kind of just polishes off the end of the chorus. So the chorus finishes and the strings kind of disappear off, and we're back to this piano vocal guitar thing, except this time the guitar is doing these really, really pretty little fills that we kind of just made up on the spot. I'll just solo the guitar. It's really pretty. There's lots of reverb on the guitar, which makes it very spacious, and it just makes it sound like it's almost far away, coming at you from behind in a way. And they interact really nicely with these pad vocals that you can hear, which is basically just six layers of me singing and that's kind of interacting with the guitar really nicely, and in the context of the whole.
And you cried, and that was the day you said goodbye.
So my favorite bit about that little build-up section there is this little riff that the guitar plays, this little scale that the guitar plays before that chorus. And you can hear that it slows down. He's just, so my brother recorded this and he did a really, really good job. But you can hear that the guitar actually slows down really slightly. And if I open the tempo back up, you can see the whole entire track slows down there. So it's just a way of really building up to that big hit of that second chorus. So everything slows down and then we're back to that regular tempo. So I really, really just like that guitar scale that happens there. The other thing that we've got going on is these percussion effects kind of come in. If I soloed the percussion and effects, you can hear a timpani roll that happens there. So somebody's kind of going, and then we've got a big impact that happens when that chorus finally does hit. So it's very hard. It can be very hard to like notice it in the mix, but you definitely feel it. So there we've also got the strings that come back. And to add to that tension beforehand, we've got the violins playing a little tremolo, which means they're kind of vibrating the string a little bit as they play. I'm not a violinist, so I don't know exactly what they're doing. But it's a particular articulation that violinists use. We've also got this sub bass coming back in, which if you're on a phone or a computer, you might not be able to hear. And this time there's 3 different sub basses because these are adding almost like a little pulse. It's very, very difficult to hear, but like a plucked sound. And that kind of just adds to the movement of it all because there's no drum kit to keep that rhythm. So I thought that adding in a little bit of push in the bass would kind of keep the song moving forward a little bit. The other thing that we've got coming in here are the backing vocals, which are singing exactly what I'm singing, but just on different pitches. And they kind of work to glue that main vocal to the instrumentation.
All I something from your heart, but you never let me in again.
So that kind of continues for the rest of that big chorus, and then we kind of step it up to another level before that big bridge. One of my favorite bits about this section are the vocals. Just the way that they all interact and sound with each other is so satisfying. Just the overlaps and the crossover that happens between those vocal parts. And you can hear like a really high-pitched, annoying vocal that's happening there. I actually recorded that. Well, I didn't record it at all. That kind of came to be after I had recorded everything and packed up all the equipment. And I was like, you know what, that needs a little bit more. So we added that really, really high vocal happening here. It's heavily processed, but you can't notice it in the mix. In that section, we loaded up the reverb on that main vocal to kind of make it feel like we're drifting away. So you'll hear it. Lots of reverb there. I just really like that effect. The other thing that we've got coming in the bridge are these woodwinds and French horns. So the French horns are very quiet for the same reason that the strings had to be quiet. One pan to the left and one to the right as well. And then when the woodwinds come in, they play this really nice scale up to their notes. You'll hear it here. And I really wanted to have that scale in because it makes it sound big and it makes it sound powerful. And the more powerful this section is, the less powerful this section sounds, this last chorus, when it goes back down to just the piano and vocal. So moving on to that section, everything comes to a sudden halt. And we're back.
And all I wanted was something from your heart.
So in that section, I guess the idea of this song was that, I could have ended this song here if I wanted to, but I wanted it to kind of come back to exactly where we started. So it started with piano and vocal and ended with piano and vocal, and I feel like that's just a really nice way to kind of grow the song and then have it come back to where we started. And it kind of matches up with the whole idea of the song because you start and it's just you kind of develop something with someone and you go through all these big experiences and it comes to a stop really suddenly, and then you're back to where you started. And I guess that's the overall idea of the song. So we'll kind of, just finish it off.
Never let me in again, and you're out of reach. It seems to me as though we're never gonna meet again, and all that I can do is just pretend.
You can hear right at the end there, we added heaps of reverb on that little tail of pretend. So the pretend kind of lasts forever.
I can do is just pretend.
And it kind of makes the song feel a little bit unfinished. And it kind of adds to that unsettling vibe that we kind of saw in that very first part with the piano. So I guess that kind of concludes the little breakdown of my song, Something From Your Heart. So if you enjoyed that, I'd love to know. And if you have any questions or comments about the song, I'd also love to hear them. So you can leave them below and I'd love to get involved and kind of hear what you guys think and what you're saying. So as always, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time.